but not really streaming. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. How do we keep getting cut off? Wondering. Look at my fast. I think it's a quick shutdown of stream capabilities. Probably my upload speed. Yo, we're back. We are back. Get part 2. Oh, it's going to remain offline. Doesn't want me. Internet, man. And it looks like we're live. Let's see if we're actually coming on live. Live in part 2. There we go. Part 2 is alive. Here we go. We can do part 2. Fortunately, for any of you that are still on and you hung in there, for those of you that are joining in part 2, congratulations, because we're going straight into regulation. And so I think it's going to be great. Welcome back. Welcome back to part 2 of the HODL Report discussing regulation, the SEC, and the FUDsters. Part 1, we actually covered everything that had to do with FUD. We talked about emotional trading. Right now, we're going to dig right into regulation and some of the things that the SEC is doing. So again, anyone joining on the replay, congrats. So you're going to enjoy a little bit of a discussion on regulation. And this part, in part 2, is going to be a little bit shorter. So welcome all that are in here. Buffett has friends at the power company, probably Comcast company, and they keep pulling the plug. They don't like it. They definitely don't like it. They try to shut me down. Trying to shut me down over here. Spanish Fly, welcome. Glad to see you on. Welcome all. Let me see here. Let me pull this up, and we're gonna dig right into some of the regulations. So this is good. I'm glad that we're live again. So I think the Shermanator and Baloney, right? You like that? I think both of them are in on it as well. So let's see. All right, let me go right into. I'm not gonna try mess with anything. I'm not gonna try to share my screen because I think that's what they're monitoring. I think it has something to do with the I've got an Xfinity Comcast guy coming out tomorrow. Spent an hour on the phone with him yesterday because we had 2 or 3 dropouts, and it's just these massive fluctuations on upload and download speed. So it's just ridiculous. So anyhow, let's go into, and I think this is interesting because when we talk about regulation, we talk about what the SEC can and cannot do. We look at what the SEC wants to do from an observation perspective, because right now they want to find a way to build in transparency. How does the SEC actually track what's happening within the blockchain, within these different companies, if they want to call them out, and really identify whether or not they really have the security? What does it really mean from their perspective? And this is where I find it interesting because here we have this article that popped up on nextgov.com. It was written by Brandy Vincent. And in this situation, or in this article, they're focused on the title of the article. The agency is asking for quotes from companies that offer a window into what's happening on the blockchain ledger. So basically, and this goes back to the discussion, is government going to develop and design their own digital asset, or will they use third-party software providers to do that and solutions already in existence? And the trend with a government entity or a non-government entity is that they are always going to use a third party to develop and design software or whatever it might be, because the government themselves isn't. And an initiator or a developer designer. They're not going to create their own high-tech department, and they want to use something that's already in existence. So what I think is interesting as we go to this next level of utility and full regulation, we're seeing that the SEC is now looking into, and this per this article, I thought it was like spot on. It's so perfect because we're talking about something that's going to be happening in the near term, in the near future, that government is actually in the process of interviewing companies, third-party companies, again, per this article, to establish or set up a technology to allow them to monitor everything that's happening on the blockchain. So that means that every transaction, now they don't want to, based on what their goal is, they want to be able to see every transaction that has happened from the beginning, from inception until now. So it says here that this subscription that they want to use will support its effort to monitor risk, improve compliance, and inform commission policy with respect to digital assets. It gives them a very immediate scope on the next level of being able to provide regulatory clarity, because they're able to see what's transacting, what's transitioning. Part of this requirement, I'm sure, as you register your entity, will then be they want to know who owns these different digital addresses, the different wallets potentially. So if you're filing, maybe you need to show your wallet address or whatever it might be. I don't know what their requirements are going to be, but I'm sure once it's with the SEC, they're focused not so much on tax. They're focused mostly on regulation and compliance by the business. So they want to see money flow, money movement within those entities, and see what exactly are they doing. So that could be very important. Now, it said here that the anticipation was to get bids in June. Here it says that the deadline for response for bid is going to happen by July 11th. So that means that they're going to establish, they're not building yet, they're just getting builds to identify by July 11th. This is per this article that was on nextgov.com. So I think that that's really interesting. I think that, again, from a regulatory perspective for the SEC, to be able to monitor what's happening could be interesting. Now, as they drill down, it says here, the subscription shall include all on-node data for each supplied blockchain in its entirety. So that's from the beginning till now. They want to see every single movement. And then it says here, at a minimum, the subscription shall include the Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchain. In addition, the subscription shall include as many as possible of the following blockchains. So they want Bitcoin Cash, Stellar, Zcash, EOS, NEO, and XRP. So their goal is to look at everything. They want it from beginning to end. So it says here the vendor they choose has to run their own node for each supported blockchain. So that means that each one of these companies will have their own node. And it, to me, be very, very interesting to see exactly what their expectation is, to see if this is even possible. But it really goes down to what does it really mean for regulation? And that is what's interesting, because it could potentially take regulation to a whole new level. It definitely takes observation by the SEC to a whole new level and gives them a direct view of what's happening. It shouldn't be that difficult, I wouldn't think, to build something like this for them to log into and be able to monitor what the ebb and flow of each digital asset, and then or each digital asset, but utilizing and the company also then maintaining and managing a node. There could be bigger costs involved, but it'll be really interesting to see what happens. So that's really, I think, the beginnings from a regulatory perspective. Now, the other thing that I had promised that we were going to talk about in part one also has to be the impact of what's happening globally from an economic perspective, with France issuing its first 10-year bond at a negative interest rate. So this popped up on France24.com. There are other mentions of it if you look, and you can look back through 2016, 2014, this phenomenon of negative interest rate. Now, in part, we saw back in 2016, I think it was Switzerland or a different country investing in the negative interest bonds with the anticipation of a fluctuation in currency. So right now, let's say you're investing in French bonds, you're basically buying their debt, you're buying euro. So if it's only, if it's the French that can buy it, is there an expectation? I'm buying into it with the expectation that the euro is going to increase in value. Now, I don't understand the purpose. If you're in France buying a bond in euro, why don't you just buy and hold your own euro? It doesn't make sense that you're paying for the benefit here. So is this open to individuals, or is it, since it's gives investors a chance, a privilege to own some some of the French debt? So from our perspective, let's say in the U.S., if they open up this bond and we can buy as an individual, but it's probably going to be more geared towards financial institutions, maybe. I don't know if they've thought this all the way through, but if we want to buy, and obviously we could try to buy euro, but if we buy the French debt, the anticipation there is that France isn't going to default on their debt. At the same time, you're buying those bonds at a very low valuation for a euro, and the expectation then would be that the euro is going to increase by a higher percentage than the amount of money that you're paying on the negative interest rate. So that's really the goal there. And so there's other countries here. It says it's the first time that France, the Eurozone's second biggest economy, has issued sovereign debt at a negative interest rate, with a number of other countries in the currency area. So you have Austria, Germany, and the Netherlands already charging investors to buy their bonds. So if you want to buy a bond, you're going to pay for it. And right now it looks like, let's see, and it says here the ECB, the European Central Bank, has cut its deposit rate to negative 0.40%. So it's crazy. So negative interest you're paying to deposit money there, and it just goes on and on. But I think that that's really the anticipation, is that you're paying at a negative rate. So the 10-year bond rate is negative 0.13%. So it's not a huge amount invested. However, that you're still paying for the right to hold their debt, with the expectation that France in 10 years, that France and the euro is going to dig out of whatever negative economic standing, and that by the time you get to the 10-year cash out on the bond, the euro is going to be more valuable, and therefore you're going to make money on that transaction. So, and Carl Lewis, yes, I did say that. Actually, I did say that I would appreciate who's jumped in and has yet to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Thumbs up will definitely be helpful at this point. And obviously tweeting out this video as well as the previous video. This one, I'm happy, is going to be a little bit shorter because we get to talk a little bit about the regulation, and also analyzing a little bit about that negative interest rate. It wasn't a huge segment, but we spent so much time on the part one talking about emotional trading and such. So glad that a bunch of you guys bounced back in here. James Ryan, great truths you bring forward. Your live stream deserved to be aired on national television. Your humorous rants are a treat too. Haven't laughed as hard in a long time, and I appreciate that, man. That's really great. Really good to hear. On national TV, that'd be interesting, right? But it's interesting too. I've been asked to set up a podcast. I don't know the first thing about podcasts, and I'm not sure if I could take a YouTube stream and simultaneously cast into a podcast. Thought about doing something like that as well. Not sure, going to look into that. And then Chip and I are working on something that we're hoping we can pull together here and roll out in the near future, but has something to do with OTC. but it's going to take a little bit of time to pull it all together. And when we do, I think it's going to be pretty amazing. So hopefully, but I really appreciate those comments, James. That's really, really impactful. So I really appreciate that. So let me see here. I don't know time-wise where we're at on that podcast. You know what? It's interesting, Mike. I just discovered podcasts. So people have talked about podcasts for so long, and I've got it, with Android Auto. If you've got podcasts on your phone, it's accessible through Android Auto. And then a friend of mine the other day was telling me about some podcasts to listen to. One of them was, I think, something, was it How I Created It or whatever. I was listening to this podcast from the CEO of Yelp, and I just thought it was awesome. It was really, really cool. And I've always just logged into YouTube, but I mean, I've already had the podcast app, but I never really dug into it. There were a few Bitcoin and digital asset cryptos, like was it Bobby Crypto or Crypto Bobby? So he was on YouTube and he had his podcast, but I'd always rather tune in via YouTube than podcast. And now all of a sudden I realize that listening to the podcast is just, it's so amazing. It's great. You plug it in and you're off. And like XRP Gandhi said, there's so many amazing podcasts out there. So I'm going to see if I can pull a podcast together. I think that would be really, really cool. And see what kind of following we can get on the podcast. So this was awesome. A really great stream this morning. Appreciate all you guys for coming out. Appreciate all you guys for logging back in again for part 2. And then I'll be streaming again on Monday and Wednesday evening at 10 p.m. I'm going to, since Chip has been down, XRP Minute's been down, I've been streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. Looking at, I know I want to stick to the 10 o'clock time spot. I've got a lot of people that have been following and really, and really looking forward to the 10 o'clock time slot. I know I had a few people when I didn't stream the other night at 10 o'clock said, why weren't you on at 10? As I was trying out an earlier time slot. I'm thinking of targeting also, or the 8:30 time slot. I got to figure that out just from my timing. But definitely this Monday and Wednesday I'll be on at 10. And like I said, I'll also be streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I don't know what happened to Auburn Rain. Rain was supposed to stream yesterday, Friday night, 10 p.m. We missed him. So really appreciate all you guys. That'd be great. Yeah, if you can go back, rewatch part 1. Part 2 I thought was pretty good too. Appreciate everybody, and that's great. Gaming Crypto, Annalise, appreciate the comments. So I'm gonna work towards getting the getting a podcast set up too. I got to figure it out. So anyhow, have an awesome weekend. I'll check you guys out Monday night. Until then, that's it. That's all I got for today. All right, have a great one. See you then.